The phone vibrated on the marble counter at 6:11 a.m. 71 missed calls, all from the same number. I didn't pick it up. Outside the glass wall, the lake lay flat and obedient, Switzerland pretending innocence. Steam rose from my coffee like a quiet confession. I watched it fade, measured my breathing, counted the seconds it took for the past to knock again. A message slid in. "If you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes." Her voice echoed in my head, sharp, amused, careless. My daughter-in-law had always mistaken volume for power. I typed one word: enjoy. Then I set the phone face down and went back to watching the mountains do what they had always done, stand without apology. The calls kept coming. I didn't flinch. I had already lived through louder moments. There was a time when a laugh across a clinic room cracked my spine, when a woman I loved leaned close enough for me to smell betrayal and whispered that I wasn't a man, when she mocked the paper in my hands, the test results still warm from the printer, like they were a joke she could tell at dinner. I learned then that sound means nothing. Silence decides everything. The phone buzzed again. I smiled. She didn't shout when she said it. That was the cruelty. "You see," she murmured, tapping the page, "not a man." The doctor's eyes had slid away, professional, useless. Numbers and words blurred. I folded the paper once, twice, precise. My body stayed still while something old and primitive tried to claw out. She laughed, soft, casual. Later at home she hummed while cooking. She spoke about groceries and weather and plans. She touched my arm like nothing had changed. I noticed details instead. The way her phone never left her side, the way she showered longer, sang louder, the way a name flashed once on the screen, unfamiliar, then gone. At night she turned away from me, exhausted in a way that had nothing to do with work. I lay awake, counting breaths that weren't mine. When the accusation came again, it was sharper. "Don't look at me like that," she said. "It's embarrassing." I didn't argue. Men who argue still believe they're owed truth. I watched. I waited. I became careful. I smiled at breakfast. I kissed her cheek. I asked about her day. Inside, I built a map. Phone records arrived quietly. I read them like scripture. Late nights, repeated numbers, gaps where explanation should be. I scheduled another test, then another. Different labs, different hands. Science doesn't care about insults. At a cafe, I saw her through glass, leaning forward, animated, alive. A man across from her laughed too hard, touched her wrist like it was already his. I didn't interrupt. At home, I packed a bag I didn't intend to unpack. Documents, passport, the original test results smoothed flat. A life can be reduced to paper if you're disciplined. She grew crueler as I grew quieter. Mockery needs resistance to stay warm. "You should be grateful I stay," she said once. "Who else would want you?" I nodded. At night, I booked a flight, one way. The investigation ended when the final envelope arrived, heavy, certain. I slept well for the first time in months. I placed the envelope on the table between us. She frowned. "What's this?" "Open it." She did. Her fingers slowed, color drained. The room seemed to shrink around her breathing. "This isn't—" She stopped. Tried again. "This is wrong." I watched her face work through denial like a math problem she could no longer solve. "Different labs," I said softly. "Same answer." Silence pressed down. She cried then, loud, messy, apologetic in the way liars are when cornered. "It didn't mean anything," she said. "You were distant." I leaned back. "You laughed," I reminded her. At the clinic, her sobs cracked. She reached for me. I stood. I didn't shout. I didn't accuse. I packed while she watched, realizing too late that panic is not leverage. At the door, she asked the question she should have asked months ago. Where will you go? Somewhere quiet. She tried anger next. You'll regret this. I paused, looked at her carefully, memorized the face of someone who had mistaken cruelty for strength. I already don't, I said. Years passed cleanly. Success arrived without ceremony. Work, patience, distance. A villa perched above water that didn't remember me. Photos posted by someone else, tagged, shared. Then the calls began, 71 times. I never answered. I don't hate her. Hatred requires intimacy. From my terrace, the world looks small and solvable. I cook when I want. I sleep when I'm tired. I am whole in ways paper can't measure. Somewhere she explains herself to rooms that won't listen, to people who learned her voice before her truth. My phone is silent now. I turn it off anyway. The cold teaches you this. What survives doesn't shout. It stands.